Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget
Probably should stop saying that.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
We're back in Arcadia.
We're back in Arcadia.
I mean, I guess we were back in Arcadia for Monday's live stream.
This is the last Thursday Night Live before Christmas.
Yes.
That's crazy talk.
I didn't even realize that Christmas Eve is on Monday, but we will still have Keto Beyond the Couch on Monday.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't miss it.
We have not missed one in 301 weeks.
Christmas smishmish. We're doing it. I can't believe it, though. Today, I got a few presents for our grandbaby because tomorrow we are going to meet up with John Paul and Michelle, and then we're going to bring Peyton back to our house here on the farm until Christmas Eve.
I got really bold. They called us. We got in Saturday night around 10 o'clock. John Paul texts me and goes, "Hey, you guys want to go to Disney Springs tomorrow?" So
Sure.
I'm like, not really, because I'm exhausted, but
I
chance to see my kids and chance to see Peyton.
Yeah.
I'll stay exhausted. So we drove up there. We walked around Disney Springs, had a great time. And then I got really bold and I'm like, "Can we have the baby? I want the baby. Can we have the baby? Please, can we have the baby?"
She's 2 and everything is awesome.
Yeah.
For Christmas. But mom and dads, this is a hard time. I mean, it's been a long time since we had littles of our own. And all of the I'm on my last nerve that goes with having littles at Christmas time.
Right.
So we have all of the peace and grace in the world. We're the grandparents. So we're gonna have fun. But I figured we're gonna try T-ball. I got a little T-ball, Little Tikes T-ball sets. I got a Magnadoodle because I'm that many years old. I'm really excited. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. So welcome to our Thursday live stream. If you're new here, our Thursday live streams are a chance to hang out with our community. We do this. We try to do it every Thursday. Sometimes we travel and we can't. At 8:30 p.m. on Thursdays. If you have a question, go ahead and type question, and then whatever your question is, or use the super chat function, which we really do appreciate. It does help benefit the channel, but more importantly, it highlights our screen, lets us know that you have a question.
Ooh, I see that Sean is here, and it's gonna be Sean and Shell's birthday before the next time we do a Thursday Night Live, I believe. So let's sing happy birthday to Sean and Shell, kicking it their birthday the same timetable.
Okay.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sean and Shell. Happy birthday to you and many more, so many more happy, beautiful birthdays together.
So I am looking forward to having Peyton here, especially because Christmas is weird this year. We're not really doing Christmas with the kids. No tree.
Is it Christmas with the cranks?
I know. It's interesting, but we're trying to get this house done, and it's we were doing a vlog the other day and I was just like, I need 2 to 3 solid weeks, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get
that,
2 to
boy.
3 solid weeks.
Nope.
We have Christmas, then we have New Year's, and then we have the Florida RV Super Show. Hopefully we can have kitchen cabinets within the next couple weeks. That would be great.
Our house went on the market, though.
Yes,
that was
our old house is on the market.
That is a huge step forward. I'm really excited about that.
So yeah, if you have a question, go ahead and type question. I did want to just mention, we were so excited. We came home to a couple of the new buttered maple pecan beef tallow bricks.
So good.
Cameron is knocking out of the park with the tallow. I hope every flavor goes to tallow.
Me too.
Because I'm really loving it. Unfortunately, they are sold out, but definitely keep your eye out for them. We'll always let you know when they do come back in stock, and you can use our link. But the buttered maple pecan, let us know. Did you get any? Did you get yours?
So
our shipment of them came today, but we were able to taste them the other day because Robert had mailed us 2 of them.
I gotta tell you, I got very excited because buttered maple pecan is usually a fall flavor. It's usually a fall flavor.
Yeah.
So when I saw it like in a beef tallow version right now in the middle of the holidays and going into January, I started thinking to myself, maybe they're gonna make this like a permanente flavor,
I doubt it.
which I hope they do because I freaking love that flavor. That was always my favorite.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn off focus just in case my sister calls,
Okay.
so that my phone will ring. So if you didn't know, my mother got rushed to the emergency room while we were on the cruise with high blood pressure.
Went home.
Went home and then went back
Yeah.
yesterday. I think she went back
Last
yesterday.
night.
High blood pressure. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on. They've ruled out a stroke. Then they did a CAT scan, said nothing. Then they were going to do an MRI. Then they decided not to. Then the chief neurologist went back in today and said, no, I want to get it just to rule it out. But they think it has something to do with vertigo. But it also could have to do with fasting because my mom fasts every Wednesday and Friday for God. And my sister said this is only happening on a fasting day after she drinks coffee. So
Yeah.
we have finally convinced my mom to knock off the fasting and find something else to fast other than food.
I was gonna say, because there's the spirit of the challenge, right? So
She's not
usually
fasting for health. She's fasting
she's
for God.
fasting for religious purposes, but what I'm wondering if this is detrimental to her fasting wise, like what is something else that you can fast? And that's something that like we've had to talk about like in the 1st of January, we always fast something for 21 days of January. And I can remember Anthony saying, if I am being real ski, a true fast, like doing without something and like just kind of taking the focus off something for him was like fast food. He's like, I need something where like it really does feel like I'm giving up something, you know? And so his was like fast food. Some people take a dip out of social media.
Yep.
Some people will give up like, going to the movies or something that they really, enjoy. But yeah, I'm very happy to hear that.
Video camera image is flipped again.
Uh-oh.
Video. I don't know why it's changing. Roadcaster mirror.
Are we back?
There we go. I don't know why it's changing. It should always have the same setting. But thank you, Chris. Thank you for letting
Good
us know.
catch.
Let's jump right into some of these comments. I did see yesterday was Denise's birthday. Do you want
Oh,
to?
yes.
Yep.
Let's do it. Ready? Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to you.
you.
Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear Denise.
Denise. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you and many
Okay, I see a bunch of
more.
questions. So Jamie wants to know, do you leave your butter on the counter or in the fridge? On the counter. So we have a lot of it, so I keep it in the freezer, in the fridge, and then we keep one out on the counter. That took me 2 years to get Rachel to let me do that.
I was totally afraid of it. Just afraid. My mom would do that like when I was growing up and it weirded me out. And she was like, but did you die? My mom would say that, but did you
Now,
die?
it has to be salted.
Yeah.
You do not leave unsalted butter on the
We've never
on the counter.
we've
You
never
need to
used
leave
that.
salted butter because the salt actually helps it to not oxidize. Because if you didn't know, fat goes rancid when it hits the air and moisture. So the salt helps prevent that. So if you have salted butter, you can leave it on the counter, but do not leave unsalted butter.
I don't like
That's
unsalted
one of the
butter.
things that makes tallow so great is tallow like kind of resists that oxidation in the air, and it's a shelf stable fat. So
And it's
absolutely love it.
delicious.
Andrew said, why is it so dark outside? Because we're not in Alaska.
I
Kathy said, I was going to ask who else is struggling through the holidays, but I can see I'm not the only one. I'll be glad when all of the treats go away.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, plan something for the day after Christmas. If you're joining us for Triple B and E, you've already got plans for the day after Christmas. But I'm gonna say, if you're somebody who feels absolutely drawn to the store to get all those deals, you need to find something else to do. Like go online, to get whatever, like, body wash, razors, paper plates, those sort of things. Like, I understand we stock up on soap and stuff like that. That's really helps us be economical, but let's not do that to the detriment of our health. Like, if you know that if you go into the store on December 26th, you're going to see all of the Christmas candy and crap like slashed the price, and you won't be able to turn away. Like, just know now, like, I need to plan something for December 26th, because we were those people
Yep.
that would just fill a shopping cart up, not with meat or vegetables, but like, seriously, like, nonsense,
Yeah.
just garbage.
Jennifer said the newest flavor drops Sunday. I think I haven't seen anything, but as soon as we know of something dropping, we always will make you a post for you guys. Miriam said just got
Hey,
back from the
Miriam.
Brazilian steakhouse for the bear birthday dinner. Yeah, because all of the bears have their birthday over like the course of a month.
Happy
It's kind of cool.
birthday, Bear family.
Carrie wants to
Hi,
know what
Carrie.
electrolytes do we have? How is the house going on the farm?
Thanks, Carrie.
Electrolytes, salty. I mean, we use them all, but salty is absolutely our favorite.
Right now is absolutely nothing. And we're finishing off some chicken wings, because how many people are joining us for Triple B and E, and you're eating as much chicken and seafood as humanly possible right now in preparation for that? I'm
We're
getting
preparing because we're getting like 10 eggs a day from the girls.
Yes, but so I actually usually, when I eat a bunch of chicken wings, I get super thirsty, like crazy thirsty. It's like it's nuts. This is like my second bottle in like 10 minutes.
Gary said he also want to know how's the farm going. Slow. We're getting
Slow
it
but
done.
steady.
I'm at the part like we got all the sheetrock up except for 2 bedrooms, but now it's tape and mud, and I'm not great at it, so it's taking time. But then I get sidetracked with starting fires and doing other stuff that absolutely has to be done as well. But we will get there. Joe said I'm still not used to being on land. Yeah, it's called
I
land
know.
sickness. So some people who go out on a cruise, they get so adjusted to being on the ship and moving their body with the ocean. When they get back on land, they still kind of do this a little
It
bit.
was weird, like
I don't
trying to
get that.
sleep.
I don't get seasick. I don't get
Well, I'm
land
glad, but
sickness.
I just felt like at night I should be kind of being rocked to sleep a little bit, and I was missing that, and I miss you guys.
Paul said, it feels like I got done with Black Friday. Can't believe Christmas is already here. Me neither.
It's nuts. I literally have nothing purchased for John Paul, Caleb, or Anthony.
Matt said, we have decided to do the 2KK back-to-back cruise in
Yay! I'm so
2025. So if you
excited.
didn't know, we are having 2 cruises. Actually,
Yeah,
no, where is it? It's this one. 2 cruises next year, but they're back to back cruises. So, what does that mean? That means that we're going to go out on a cruise December 4th through the 8th. That was the original cruise. Let me get rid of this. December 4th to the 8th, 4 nights Royal Caribbean Freedom of the Seas from Miami, Florida.
Miami.
And then what we're going to do is we're literally going to come back, and then that same day we're going to jump back on the ship for another 5 days to Cozumel and Grand Cayman. And so it's basically open to everybody. You could do the first leg, the second leg, or you can do both legs.
Both legs.
So the links are down below. If you want to do both, you have to use both links. So there's no way, because they're technically
They're
two separate
separate.
cruises and two separate groups. There's no way for me to make one link because of the way I have to perform the registrations and stuff. So you just do both of them. Um, we're going to do our best to try to keep people in the same cabin, but
No
if
promises.
people have already booked those cabins, well, I will try to arrange it. We will do the best we can. But if you are doing both cruises, at minimum, what you do is on the day you leave the first cruise, you literally just pack up. The cabin steward will know you're getting right back on board, and they move your bags over to your other cabin. So you don't have to take everything off and wait for it to come back
Pretty
on.
cool.
They move everything over. For those of you who have sent in registrations, I have them all. I will be processing them this week. I've just had a bunch of other stuff to do this week, and I kind of pushed it off. But don't worry, I have everything. We have enough cabins. The price doesn't change because we have laid out $2,000 out of our pocket to hold that price. So it's not going anywhere. We have cabins, so don't worry about it. But I will be processing it this week. Our focus this week has been figure out kitchen cabinets, and it's
Are
been,
you getting close?
well, I'm ready to order,
Okay.
but I think I'm back to blue since you've convinced me to get a granite
What?
that I don't like.
I
But
know.
I really want the green granite, but
I just like before you move on, I just want to say thank you guys so much for
I want
voting.
different.
I understand, but we're different. We're what adds the different to any decorating thing. But so I'm getting smarter in this marriage as I go on. And
You told me I could design the kitchen
absolutely you could.
and I could pick the countertop.
Yes, you could pick the countertop. So what I did was when we went to look at granite, I just took pictures and I put them up on Instagram and I asked everybody to kind of like vote. And there were like 7 different options. And I didn't say what my favorite was, and I didn't say what Joe's favorite was. And y'all voted, and it just became clear that the one that Joe was very excited about was not everybody's favorite.
Well, I'm not everybody's favorite, so that's
You're
good.
my favorite.
Okay. Well, here's my thing: is the other. So you have that one, then you have one that looks like it came from I don't know
Tiger
what,
King.
Tiger King, and then the other five all look the same to me. Um,
I'd be happy with any of
but
them.
the problem was is I was going to do gray cabinets because the green countertop that I wanted doesn't match the blue cabinets. And then as I've been shopping cabinets, a lot of places were charging more money for the blue, and that I'm not willing to pay more money for the color. Sorry, if you tell me white is 70% cheaper than everybody else,
Guess what we're getting?
I'm getting white,
Wait,
even though I don't want white cabinets. But if it's
wait
that much
forever.
cheaper, like money's a tight, and we're already over budget, and we're probably going to spend double on the cabinets than we were planning on, so trying to save money. But I've been shopping cabinets. I thought I had this one company all picked out, and then it turns out they charge for shipping, whereas almost every other cabinet company, over if you spend over $2,000, doesn't charge for shipping. This company was charging, their price was good, and then I go in to check out and it's like $1,700 for shipping. And I'm like, no. And so let us know, because I haven't placed the order yet. Have you ever ordered online kitchen ready to assemble cabinets? So we're going to assemble themselves. They have to be wood. I don't want just particle board cabinets. And so we've looked at the RTA store, the RTA online store, which is the one that was actually charging for shipping. Um, and then where I think we're at like buy wholesale direct. So they're like a couple of $100 cheaper than the other place, but their price for blue is the same: blue, gray, green, whatever. Whereas the RTA store, the blue cabinets are like $4,000 more than the gray
I don't
cabinet.
need them that
And
badly.
it's interesting where they upcharge you. So like the RTA store, if you want fancy things inside of your cabinets, like you want pull out drawers inside of the cabinet, they charge ridiculous. They wanted $700 for a pull out garbage can, whereas the other company, by wholesale direct, is 200.
I'll just pee in the sink.
And then you have, but then they charge more money for the back panels on the island. So I've been up till like 2 o'clock every morning trying to figure out which cabinets we've got the layout, we've got the design. Now it's just, where do I order it? And the goal is to have it ordered by Saturday.
And
That's
I helped.
that's my goal. And also timely. Some of the companies were like 8 weeks before they ship.
I cannot
That's
wait
not
8 more weeks for a
that's
kitchen.
not going to work.
You know what I do want to say is thank you so much to Cindy and
Yes.
Brian DeManchi. They sent us for Christmas these beautiful coasters that they imprinted with our 2KK logo. Thank you so much. And I understand that this is something that they do. So if you are interested in having some like specialty coasters with a logo of yours, like reach out to Cindy DeManchi's channel, because This is something she does.
Tell your boyfriend to stop calling.
Scam
It's like every
likely.
5 minutes right now, your phone is going off. I want to make sure it wasn't
Sorry.
your mother or
I
something.
know, no.
Okay, so Mead Fan
Hi, meat fan.
said you had
Meaty.
mentioned that you like to use sucralose as a sweetener. How much, how often do you use it? Also, have you noticed has it affected your fasting insulin, good or bad? There's no way to test your insulin at home. I can tell you I have a very low fasting insulin. Last time I had my insulin checked, it was like 4 point something. So um I don't think it affects my insulin. Sucralose is an artificial sweetener. It is zero on the glycemic index. It should not affect your glucose. Something a lot of people don't know. Yes, technically it is an artificial sweetener. And Chris Bear, who I think is still in here, could probably answer this better than I can. But it's technically an artificial sweetener because it's not a natural thing, but it is made from sugar.
Right.
Right. Okay. They manipulate the chlorine molecules to make it, and it is 600 times sweeter than sugar.
So a drop will
How
get ya.
much do we use? 2 to 3 drops in a cup of coffee. Like
Yeah.
literally, in fact, we're almost out. And the only reason we're almost out is because the little flip top on the big bottle we bought broke
Busted.
off and poured all over our inside of our cabinet when we were driving back from Elkhart in October.
Not
And
pretty.
talk about crystallization. Like, you know what happens when you leave sugar out like rock candy?
Yep.
Yep, that's the whole inside of our kitchen cabinet.
Airware.
But on
Airware.
average, the bottle that we always get, there's a link for it down below. That lasts us like 1 to 2 years.
I still
But we use it probably at least once a day.
I still like to see, like, if I feel like it's creeping in, like, can I go without it? When we went on the 2KK
Didn't
cruise,
bring it.
I just didn't bring it with me. So, when we do triple B and E, because that was another reason why I wanted to make sure when we go to triple B and E, December 26th, no sweeteners for Rachel. So, I just wanted to make sure that black coffee would be okay with me.
Now, a couple things on sucralose. A lot of people confuse this and they say sucralose is Splenda. That is not true.
No.
Splenda is a name brand that uses sucralose as one of the ingredients in their product. Okay, so Splenda became popular years ago when they were like, you can measure this cup for cup instead of using sugar. The problem is, as I said, sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar. So you could not take 1 cup of pure powdered sucralose for a cup of sugar
You
because it's
blow your face
600
off.
times sweeter.
Yes.
So, what do? You have to cut that sucralose. They have to add other ingredients to bulk it up so that you can go cup for cup. Well, they
Pump it
use
up.
dextrose and maltodextrin. So, powdered Splenda, powdered sucralose, other than the pure sucralose, is a no-no. Okay, you cannot use really powdered pure sucralose because you really cannot measure it. it it's like
It's
a
like monk fruit.
1/64th. You cannot literally measure it. I mean, like literally, when we use liquid sucralose, that is 25% sucralose to water, and it still only needs 2 drops.
Right.
When you look at keto chow, which uses sucralose as a sweetener, you literally, it's like the tip of a
It's like a
toothpick.
one like little speck of
You
pepper.
cannot measure it out to be able to
Yes.
use a powder. So any powdered sucralose is going to be cut with something. And that's where you have to be careful. So we use liquid sucralose. And that's one of my biggest problems with the one study that talks about sucralose being bad for your gut biome, but it's such a flawed study. It's done on rats. We're not rats. The rats were
You
not
dirty
on
rats.
ketogenic diet. We are. And also, they were feeding the rats obscene amounts. Like, there's actually a calculator on the Keto Chow website. I would have to drink like 64 Keto Chows a day to get the amount of sucralose that they were giving to those rats.
I don't even think I could do that.
So, like, I personally don't worry about it. Andy's here, said,
Andy?
I exported my 360 video of the Dragon Breath zipline flight. I'm so happy with the software. Yeah, Insta360 software works really well, especially if you're the person in the shot and you're not just trying to like get roundabout, because if you just want it to stay on you, it can identify you and kind of do its own thing, so it works really, really well. Um, Bizarre, thank you very
Bizarre.
much for the $10 super chat. So congrats on your house getting
Thank
listed.
you.
Photos look great. You've done so much work.
Thank you so much. And honestly, I'm super tickled that we have the opportunity to give one of my former Bible interns, who's now a grown man and a real estate agent, like a shot at this. Like this was he's one of the groomsmen in Anthony's wedding,
We've known him since he was like 15.
like a baby. And
He's doing a great job.
he's doing a great job. And I'm really thankful that I am not letting, like, what is it? Like Dr. Barry says, like powdered butt syndrome, just because you've known somebody for a really long time, like, doesn't mean that they haven't matured and are ready to take on like a big boy project.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
so
so proud of him.
Jeannie said, "Good thing I keep my butter in the fridge." I didn't know that about unsalted butter. Yes, you need it's got to be unsalted. And John said, if Andrew is worrying about the darkness, yes, that is a television, but it is pitch black outside because we're in the country.
Yeah, it is very.
And there is no lights.
I'm looking outside right now. I just looked outside, and that is the same. That's exactly the view from outside.
Kate said, "Hey Joe and Rachel, my mom Leslie's birthday was on the 14th. She'd love if you sang happy birthday."
Well, let's do it for Leslie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Leslie. Happy birthday to you, and many more. So many more. So many beautiful birthdays in December.
Yep.
Popular time of year
I
to
have
be
a
born.
question. Is anybody else like really hooked on the apple pie carnivore bars?
Yes.
And again, as we said in the video, if you are still trying to lose weight battling with really high glucose, probably would not recommend it.
There's
If
other flavors. They're
it's
salted.
a touch of honey.
Yeah.
I like them, but I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm very metabolically flexible at this point. Also, if you're a person who buys a lot of like keto candy bars, Quest cups, things like that,
Switch it for the
I
carnivore bar.
would tell you that the carnivore bar is the healthier option, even though it has honey in it.
Yes.
So you can look at something like a Quest cup, which will have, I don't even remember what it is, like say 16, 17 total carbs and a bunch of soluble corn fibers. And this applies to any bar, including like Keto Crack, which I think has really good ingredients. But if I would recommend, if you're eating, say, for example, a Keto Crack bar every day, I would say stop that. As much as we love them,
We
and,
love
and
them.
we have a discount code and everything for it, and consider once in a while have a carnivore bar that has honey, because even though it has more net carbs, it's pure clean ingredients. So like the apple pie one has 4 ingredients. So it's tallow, technically 5 if you add the cinnamon, tallow, beef, some raw apple, and some raw unfiltered honey. And
Yeah.
I think it's 10 total carbs.
So I noticed,
But they still have some.
I
And I kind of want to order more.
I know, because I noticed that as we
I
were
have one every other day.
getting our refrigerator set up for the baby to visit, things that she loves to have, we want to make sure that we have them here. Things like
Not my apple pie.
hamburger patties. She loves the sausage patties. She's a huge fan of shredded cheese. She likes sour cream on everything. Like, that is her dipping of choice. She likes the good culture cottage cheese. Big fan of that. And she loves the carnivore bar. And I noticed that Opa over here was sending the apple pie ones in our stash to the back, bringing up the other flavors. I'm feeling like this means you don't necessarily want to share all your apple pie carnivore bars
The
with your
only
granddaughter.
person I will share them with is her, not you. She's more important. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. That is hateful. That is just hateful. But
And
I understand
actually,
it.
I have not moved
Okay.
anything around. So we bought 4 boxes, and there's 3 inside because this is a tiny fridge, and there's 1 box in here. And I've only had 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then we had one that we had from beforehand that they sent us. I gave her one last week. So And then we
I
had
just
one on the
noticed
cruise.
I just noted that noticed that like zesty garlic and salted are just like coming up to where I can find them. And apple pie is like you got to go on a little bit of a hunt to find that one.
That's a coincidence.
I should
Exposing
I
Darkness
should say before I forget though, we'll go ahead and say this one and then I've got an
said, I
announcement.
bought a big bag of tomato basil keto char. I have no idea what to use for it. It actually does make a good tomato soup, but
Yeah,
we use it for cooking.
ground beef.
Chili, ground beef, things like that
Next
works really,
step, the
really
next
well.
time you do like ground beef, then you've got the grease still in the pan, sprinkle that in. It makes an absolute fantastic gravy. What I was going to say is tomorrow is the very last day. If you are looking for an amazing price on Keto Brains, my absolute favorite coffee creamer. So they've been doing a special deal just for the 2KK family. We're going to get 20% off. And for the first, I think it was like 20 people, it gets an additional $5 off
I don't know.
and
I
a
don't know if
mug.
they went through that already.
I'm not sure if they did, but I just want to mention the sale.
Well, and also, even after the 20 people, you get 20% off.
Yeah.
So Sarah said, I already got my supplies for beef, butter, bacon, egg, 20 pounds of ground beef, 12 pounds of bacon, 2 pork bellies, and 10 dozen eggs.
You
Very
are
cool.
so ready.
Paul said, I usually am down for 3 days with land sickness after I get home from a cruise.
Just gotta like get your sea legs, get your land legs instead.
Oh, I saw something from Chris. Chris said somebody suggested a few days ago to mix cherry salty with the new lemon lime twist salty. Oh man, it's nuts. You got to try it.
I
We
know
can try that.
there was all kinds of
I need to get some more.
experiments going on the 2KK getaway cruise.
Kathy said we stayed a few days in a beach condo and I've started having vertigo from going up and down the elevator. Took a few days to stop after we got home.
I'll tell you what, like, so some of us were like kind of trying to do a stairs challenge when we were on the cruise. And you would think like going down the stairs is like easier, obviously, than going up the stairs. Like Donna Joe and I would be going up the stairs and we'd have to stop for like a break and just like catch our breath. But like going down, you're thinking, okay, well, this is super, easy peasy. But if you just are going, we were like, oh my goodness, be like, we had to get our bearings
Yep.
because you're going, it was dizzy. I was dizzy.
So Terry said, does flavored salty cause an insulin response? It should not. It also should not cause a glucose response. So a lot of people, I've seen people say, well, stevia causes a glucose response in me. What stevia are you using? Because if you're buying powdered stevia, that's definitely possible because most powdered stevias, as we were talking about with liquid sucralose, same thing. They're usually cut with dextrose, which is going to cause an insulin response. It kind of upsets me that companies are allowed to market this kind of stuff to diabetics.
Yes.
For example, you'll see we did a video about no sugar Reese's cups
Reese's.
where Rachel yelled at me. Um, because they use maltitol, which is considered a diabetic friendly sweetener, but it causes glucose response. It just does it at a slower period. So it kind of does upset me that they can market things to diabetics that will raise your glucose. But what it is it raises it slower or not as much. And like diabetics really shouldn't have sugar.
No.
And so you have things like dextrose and stuff, which is a sugar. So stevia, the salty is using a purified, pure stevia, just a tiny little bit. It's not cut with anything. And then you have gum acacia. So there's nothing in there that should be causing a glucose response or an insulin response because stevia is zero on the glycemic index. Now, there is something called the cephalic insulin response, which is technically a theory that is where your body may release a slight amount of insulin when it tastes something sweet in anticipation of sugar, and then as soon as it realizes it doesn't get sugar, it stops. There's no way to test for it. It's still kind of a theory. Um, but if you really wanted to know if you have an insulin response, you would have to have like spend a lot of money on like several tests, like because you cannot test insulin at home.
If you're concerned about things like that, just like, hey, if there's just any chance at all, our advice is always to drink electrolytes with a meal. Just drink it with a meal. If you're using flavored electrolytes, your best bet, drink it with a meal. And then if you're like in between meals, you want to drink water, you're good to go.
Sean said that he can only do the first cruise, but he's happy that they're getting going. I'm super excited that Sean's
Super
coming on the first flight.
excited.
Let's see. Kathy said, I want drawers instead of lower cabinets so I don't have to struggle to get stuff from the down low when I get old. So I'm doing like a mix. Unfortunately, they charge almost double for drawers, but we do have a lot of gadgets. We do.
You think?
And so I have been instructed that I cannot keep all of my gadgets on the counter, although some of them will stay on the counter. But I can't keep them all on the counter. And so, like, I do need cabinets, like actual cabinets to be able to put things like, in there. But I did come up with a solution for my JVR VAC 100 vacuum sealer because
Priorities.
that I really do like on the counter because I use it. And something like a vacuum sealer, if you put it away, you tend to not use it because, like, out of sight, out of mind.
True.
Oh my gosh, it's too much of a pain in the neck to pull that thing out to seal up this cheese. Just forget it. Whereas if it's on the counter ready to go, you're going to do it over and over. So what I'm doing is in my island, one of the cabinets, what I did is I put sliding trays. I'm doing a two sliding trays, and it's a 24-inch cabinet, so that is big enough to hold the JVR, and the JVR only weighs 50 pounds, and so it's going to be on a sliding, like, slide out drawer where it's in there. I'm going to mount an outlet inside of the cabinet, and then it'll stay plugged in, so you can literally open up the cabinet door, slide it out, vacuum seal it, push it back in, and then it's not on the counter. This way I can make room for all of my other gadgets.
What do you think is going to happen?
My other gadgets are staying on the thing. I want to know what you're going to do with your dehydrator. Are you never making meat thins
Well,
again?
no, of course not.
We don't have a garage.
Well, but we're going to have a whole outdoor kitchen space.
Yeah. When are we building that?
And when you get done with the inside. I will say that I've never seen Joe so passionate when putting together like cabinet configurations. This gentleman is a no lazy Susan person.
I want a corner, but I don't like lazy Susans because you lose space.
He gets like weird about it though. And I think it's
They
odd.
also cost like $300 more.
Why do they call it that? Like, we have a friend named Susan. She's like one of the least lazy people I've ever met in my life. She is completely the opposite of lazy. Like, why do they call it a lazy Susan? How come Susan got slammed with the lazy?
Andrea said, we got our cabinets from Cabinets to Go. Didn't need shipping, so I don't know about that part. We love our cabinets.
Good.
I actually went to Cabinets to Go. We have one about 25 minutes away from our house. The guy was pretty good, except for I'm positive that he didn't put all the cabinets because we said 4 24-inch cabinets for our island. Our island's going to be 8 feet wide or 8 feet long, but he only gave me 3 24-inch cabinets. So something is off. The problem was his price was too high. He wanted over $11,000 for the cabinets, and everywhere else I've looked, it's like 6,000. And then he quoted us a ridiculous figure for granite. Give you a piece of advice on granite.
Don't take it for granted.
I've learned this a long time ago. Don't just look at swatches. Like, they give you this little thing like this, and you're like, that's pretty. You want to see the whole big slab. Go to your local granite place, local countertop place, and you want to see the whole slab. Because then you can get a good idea of what a big long bar is going to be. When you see a piece like this, you don't know what I mean, if you saw a little piece like this of that green one, you're going to be like, that's awesome. But then when you see the whole thing, and it's like, no,
Not for
not
me.
for you. It was for me. So Chris said sucralose is made by combining a sucrose molecule with a chlorine atom from sodium chloride, which is salt. So again, technically it is an artificial sweetener, but it's made from two natural things.
Oh, Trish is waiting for a production show to start on the Sun Princess and missing you all. We miss you, Trish and Bob.
Okay, here's another one on Splenda. Splenda is 12 milligrams of sucralose and 988 milligrams of maltodextrin.
Huh. Gosh.
So Splenda will absolutely
Smurfly.
skyrocket your insulin.
Brace yourself, Effie.
But most likely you will not have a glucose response from it because you just skyrocketed your insulin. However, if you're super insulin resistant, you could actually have a glucose response from it as well.
Mm.
Um,
Wah, wah. Sean,
okay. Kathy said, when I do keto baking, I use allulose, but I add liquid sucralose to add sweetening. But just a few drops does a lot.
that's
Yep,
what we
that's
do.
exactly what we do. Allulose is my favorite sweetener to cook with because it's just like sugar. It is a rare sugar, but it's only 70% as sweet as sugar. So you need to up the sweetness a little bit. And your best bet is a liquid sweetener because then you're not adjusting the bulk. And baking is all science. So it's baking. It's not like you can't substitute liquid for powder. It needs that powder because it's really a science experiment. And so by putting a 2 or 3 drops of liquid stevia or sucralose, that will bring up that sweetness, but you still have the bulk from the allulose.
Baking is so different, and my side of the family was always bad enough at like cooking. My mom was one of those people that's like, we're making chicken salad, but I'm out of canned chicken, so I'm just gonna use rutabaga. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Sean said, "Are there any recommendations to help lower your fasting insulin? I've been battling high fasting insulin readings for the last few labs. My labs will be done again in January." Yeah, don't snack. That's one of the biggest things that's going to help you is eating 1 or 2 times a day and nothing in between. If you eat one almond in between meals, you're going to have an insulin reaction. Also, if you're a gum chewer, this is something that Rachel has battled with over the years. Pretty much all gums are using xylitol. Xylitol is not 0 on the glycemic index, it's 13 on the glycemic index. So every time you chew a piece of gum, you're having an insulin reaction.
And it makes me really mad. It
And
really
if
makes
you're
me ticked.
chewing like an entire thing of one of those like zero sugar gums,
Shots fired.
you're having a lot of insulin reactions. But some of the biggest things, build muscle. And then also only eating 1 or 2 times a day. That's a start. And also nothing, no sugar, and nothing that turns into sugar. So no pasta, bread, wheat, starches, things like that. Let's see.
That stinking gum. I love gum. I love gum. And if I'm like, nervous or I'm anxious about something, I mean, you can see me in RV Unplugged the entire time. I'm like smacking gum because I'm like nervous. But I had again this year have to wean myself off of gum. It's not easy.
Lolo said, "What do
Hey,
you think
Lola.
of using oat fiber or bamboo fiber to make keto friendly bread? Thank you. You guys are great." Oat fiber, not too keen on. I know a lot of places use it. Bamboo fiber, I know a lot of people do it. You have the Victoria's like concoction. People have a lot of success with it. For me, it's just a lot of extra work. Uh, I've always what I know about bamboo is just not something that I necessarily want to consume, especially because of its ability to like hold water and things like that. I know a lot of people who use it and find it a great substitute, especially when you're combining it with other things. But for me, I don't really miss bread, and I don't really want to introduce something like that where it could bring up a craving for bread. Sometimes if you feel like, listen, bread is my thing, and if I people have asked like, how have you never had a piece of bread in 8 years? Because I know me, and I know if I started going to Outback Steakhouse and getting that loaf of bread even one time, I'm not stopping.
Bye, Joe.
So as we've talked about before,
You know your
saying
weakness.
that our friend Steve over at Keto Chow, pain is a powerful motivator, and I'm motivated by not having to take pain medications and being able to walk pain free, so that keeps me going. So knowing that bread is my crutch, I choose to not do bread. Now when I look at something
PSMF
like
bread.
PSMF bread, it's not really bread, it's styrofoam. But it's good enough where it doesn't remind me anything of bread, but it has that same conveyance. And so I'm okay with that. And it's eggs. But I don't want to have a bunch of different things other than that. I do
When
say avoid all of the store-bought keto
when
brands.
I want something, it's fathead dough for the win. I really like fathead dough a lot. And there's a lot of fathead dough recipes
Yeah.
out there, but I really enjoy
And a lot of
that.
people don't like that because of the almonds, and almonds, it can have antitoxins and stuff like
I
that.
like
It
the
depends on how often you're
cheese,
going to do it.
please.
Um, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Is it important to fry your eggs in a cast iron skillet? No. You know, I I would avoid Teflon. As a matter of fact, Rachel cleaned the kitchen before I can go through all of our stuff. I'm going to be getting rid of all of my Le Creuset non-stick pans. I'm going to be getting probably some type of like, a ceramic coated kind of pan or something like that. If you are good at cooking in cast iron is the way to go. One of the beautiful things about cast iron is you never have to wash it.
Huh?
Although in my house, everybody washes it, which makes cast iron horrible. You should never wash your cast iron. Your cast iron should have layer upon layer upon layer of grease in it because that's what makes it non-stick. And every time you wash it, you're ruining that on it. Cast iron will last you a lifetime. Some people struggle to learn how to cook with cast iron, especially if you have an electric stove. Much easier on a gas stove than an electric stove, but it can be done. But it's a learning curve. As with anything, it's a learning curve. But if you can master the art of cooking in cast iron, cooking eggs and not having them stick, I would only ever cook them in cast iron. I think it's the best way to cook. And again, they last a lifetime. What?
I'm that person he's talking about.
Actually, I was talking about Caleb. I wasn't even talking about you. Are you telling me that you wash my cast iron too?
Never.
John said last time you said it was a good idea when I mentioned ruby red grapefruit flavor.
Yes, it is ruby red. That's what the new grapefruit fruit flavor absolutely tastes like.
Jesse, how do you make deviled eggs without Miracle Whip but still get that hint of sweetness? Add a touch. Literally, so here, what is Miracle Whip? Rachel doesn't like Miracle Whip. I loved
My
Miracle Whip.
mom loved
Miracle Whip
Miracle Whip.
is mayonnaise with extra vinegar and a sweetener. So that's it. So the vinegar brings the tanginess, and then they put a sweetener in it. So make up your own mayonnaise, or go buy the key is buy a good like
Mayonnaise.
non-seed oil mayonnaise. So if you don't want to make your own, which is very easy to do, we're actually experimenting with something that like may be a game changer.
Yes.
But if you don't want to make your own, which is very, very easy, we have a video on how to do it. All you need is a stick blender and a mason jar. But you can go and buy, there's Chosen Foods avocado oil mayonnaise.
Primal.
There's Primal Kitchen avocado oil mayonnaise. Make sure you look at the label and that the oil is actually avocado oil. That's what started reviews for us when we bought one, brought it home halfway through the jar. We turn it over and go, avocado oil is the fourth ingredient. The first ingredient was soybean oil. Don't use those. But what you do is take your mayonnaise, put a little bit of vinegar, just probably about a teaspoon or so of
Apple cider
vinegar in
vinegar.
there. Yeah, you can use apple cider vinegar if you want to use that flavor, or just white vinegar. And then just 1 or 2 drops of liquid sucralose, and that'll give you the tangy sweet.
Bang shakalaka.
Okay. Uh Exposing Darkness said the apple pie carnivore bars are amazing.
They really
are. I
They
was
really
gonna order
are.
some for them.
They're so good.
Yeah, Andy said too rich for my blood. I can't afford them. Neither can I, but that's why I haven't ordered anymore. But you know,
No matter what it tastes like. Oh, I don't know if I really like something. I'll
you'll
put
find a way, right?
I will find a way. I will just, throw out something that's important to Joe.
Matt said, Trish, are you going on the 2KK cruise next year? I believe that Trish has another cruise already planned, which is kind of a bummer because Trish was amazing on the cruise.
Amazing. And Bob too.
Everybody was amazing.
Not just Trish, Bob too. We love you too, Bob.
I gotta on Saturday for everybody that was on the cruise. We'll be emailing out you guys the picture. This way I want you guys to get it before we share it on Keto Beyond the Couch next week. But we have our group picture, and it was just so much fun. Like we have a video coming out about it. Dustin said, I made the mistake
Dustin.
of making the granddaughter low carb taquitos the other day. She eats like 2 in a day, and I can eat like 20. They're so good.
It's funny when you find something like that, that it's just like, okay, well, I mean, it was like when we started making your carnivore chicken nuggets so good. but they're like, we will blow through them. Like, Michelle has to make them in 5-pound batches because you just know you're going to go through them.
Lisa just reminded me because, like, we put it away when the hurricane came, but now that we have the new flavors of salty, like, use the cherry with the lime in a slushy. We need to
Yes.
pull out when we get back on
Yes.
Saturday the
Yes.
slushy
The
machine.
baby will love it
It's
too.
it's away in the storage facility just because we put it away for the hurricane and
We got
just
to bring it back out.
haven't
She'll
brought it
love
back.
that. She will love that. The grapefruit one too.
John said maltitol isn't the one that causes bathroom time techniques if you eat too much. Keep it, not eat too much. Eat any. Like if you're gonna, like, what is the not Werther's?
Sorbitol's
What is
too.
no, what is not Werther's? What's the candy that you see in the store all the time?
Like Russell Stover?
Yes, they make a diabetic one. It's like maltitol. Like eat one and run to the bathroom.
Disaster pants.
It should not be marketed as candy. It should be marketed as a laxative.
Well, it was funny because I was looking for something like an ice cream or something. I'm just shopping, with the baby in mind. And I'm thinking, is there anything she might enjoy? And I picked up some stuff and I don't even remember what it was. I want to say it was an ice cream, but it could have been like a cereal or something. And they were using maltitol as like the sweetener. And I absolutely put it down because I have to change the diapers, yo. I have to change the diapers. But I mean, do you want me to give it to her? Like, no way.
No.
No way.
Paul said we diabetic folks learn really fast what is actually sugar free and versus not
Not
so
so
much
much.
sugar free.
Like, ugh.
And unfortunately, I mean, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. Some people, I can be one of them, are addicts. And when you're an addict, you don't necessarily care and will
You're gonna
do
poop your
it
pants?
anyway. Well, it's just like it's less bad, right?
Right.
Like, okay, eating a sugar-free Reese's is less bad than eating one, but it's not helping. And then sometimes you just can't stop, and then it's just even worse. So, like, I know a lot of diabetics who are fine to eat what they're absolutely not supposed to, and then have to do mega doses of their diabetes medication to only partially counteract it because they can't even take enough to counteract the amount of sugar. And that's one of the reasons I have such a big problem with big pharma. It's like, again, when I grew up, if you got diabetes, it just meant you weren't eating sugar anymore. And
Wasn't
then they come out with medications going, well, now you can have your sugar.
Don't change
Just
a thing.
pop of your mom was one of those people, right?
She
She would
was.
literally eat all of the icing off of a cake and then take a pill.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
was encouraged by her doctor to do that.
I mean, it's that's insane.
It is
And
insane.
so that's what happens is you have somebody like Paul, type 1 diabetic, like it really is important that he knows.
Not negotiable.
But you have people who are type 2 that are so involved in their addiction, and I know a lot of people like this, and it's not even their fault. It's because these food companies get us addicted to this stuff that, like, they just don't care.
Well, and it's really hard too because you really want to kick yourself when you're like, I know I'm trying to eat mostly meat and maybe a little bit of vegetables and stuff. And then they have this candy or this sweet treat that is, like you're saying, less bad. And I can enjoy this even with a keto lifestyle. And it's like, people will struggle to get in the actual nourishment they need. Like eating 2 hamburger patties seems like a wall that is impossible to climb, but eating a bag of zero sugar candy is like no problem.
Right.
It's totally easy. It's not quantity of food. That is not the thing. I mean, a lot of times people are saying, well, I'm having a hard time getting all of my nourishment in. But if I gave, if you got it in like a bag of candy form, it's like, no problem. I can do a second bag, I think.
John said Joe needs a shipping container to set up his kitchen toys. Now we're gonna build eventually a shed, or not, well, like, yeah, a shed kind of like little area, or some type of an outdoor kind of kitchen, like maybe walled off in 3 areas. Because the problem is we have a septic, and shed would mean trying to tap into that, and I don't have the know how to tap into my septic system, especially because we have a raised drain field.
All I can think of is
But
cousin Eddie right now.
when the house is
Oh.
done, the next thing we absolutely have to do, and I know I can do it in 2 or 3 days. I almost feel like as soon as we can get a kitchen and have the floor in our bedroom, like I want to like stop the house to go build the studio so that we can film videos and not do live streams in the RV and make it a little bit easier. But I'm gonna build a shed and that's gonna be a studio. Then that so we have the house, the studio, and then we're gonna build an outbuilding. Then we got to build decks. So there's a lot that needs to be done. It's gonna take 1 or 2 years because again, we don't have the money to hire people. So we got to do this all ourselves.
There's a movie that I absolutely love with Michael Keaton, but I have like purposely not tried to watch it during this season, and that's Multiplicity, where he absolutely trying to get everything done, just continues to clone himself.
Yeah.
To get more things done. I know you've thought of that. Like if I could just clone myself
Now we
right
need to go
now.
watch that. Matt said we need to do a two crazy ketos workday on the farm. Everybody show up and get the whole thing done in 1 or
Oh
2
my
days, kind of
gosh.
like an Amish
We
farm.
need an Amish barn
Anybody
raising.
who wants to come help, please come help. The only thing I ask is be able to help. And there's going to be some things we could definitely use some help with. I think that pretty much anybody can do and stuff. But
Oh yeah.
it's like, but I also don't want people getting hurt.
No.
And so like it depends on what it is. If you're good at sheetrock and you're in the Florida area, call me up. Come help
Come
because
on down.
I even convinced Rachel to let me buy level 5 like tools where so like I have nail spotter, I have skim boxes so that instead of me having to do everything by hand but and taping by hand, I've got a box that does it. The only problem is I now got to learn how to use it.
He comes in, he's literally just absolutely covered because he's in the learning stage, and I'm like, well, we're gonna have to throw out that outfit.
Everything I own is covered in sheetrock mud.
It really is.
Paul said, I missed my rotating cabinet, excuse me, from the old place. I stored so much crap in there that I had to be creative with my new place now. But John said, and this is one of the reasons that I don't like it, if you spin it too fast, things fall off of it
Yes.
into the back corner, and then you can never get it back again.
That's exactly what he's saying. It's not retrievable.
Jesse said, are you
Jesse.
releasing a video using powdered donut keto flour? Chow. Yes.
Yes, we will be. Sean?
Sean, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Said thank you for all the help you give to us.
Thanks,
You two are the
Sean.
gift that keeps on giving.
You're the gift that keeps on giving.
Chris said, my problem with allulose is it's sticky like sugar. When you spill it, more of an inconvenience. I'm so used to keto stuff not being sticky.
So true.
Except for liquid sucralose. The problem with liquid sucralose, if you get it on your finger, you're tasting it for days.
What was
You can't even wash it off.
I was making a couple of batches of keto chow and in the RV because it's just really easy, to just make a big batch of these things. But like the poof happened. I had a poof thing where like the poof of
Like
keto
keto chow.
chow. Woo, when it lands on stuff, like, oh my gosh, clean it up.
Trish said today was the first time I really had a tough time at the buffet. The smell of the fresh focaccia almost got me. I'm proud of
you. Fortunately, there's so many other things, then I can lean that way. Like that is something like really magical about a cruise. That even when you see something that's like really like calling out to you, you know that there's something else that's really nice that you can also like lean into. So like for instance, I can get as many escargot plates as I want, or I can get as many like, shrimp scampi appetizers as I want, or beef carpaccio or something. So when there is something that I'm like, oh, that's not for me, at least I know there's other things that are. Proud of
Lisa
you.
said, if you heat a cast iron pan before you cook with, the cast iron will be sterilized. Yes. Anytime as soon as you heat it up, it's sterilized. And the way you actually clean cast iron, if you didn't know, especially if you have something stuck in it, is salt. So, you can rinse it with water. You just don't want to use soap in your cast iron. And then you put a little bit of salt, and that would, anything that's stuck, it'll come off. Also, once you have it seasoned right, you can literally heat up your cast iron, put a little bit of water in there, and all the stuff just unsticks.
I get to the point where if it's cast iron that I'm dealing with, then Joe has to just be on cleanup and cooking duty.
Kathy said I have to wash my cast iron with at least hot water. Yeah, you can use water in it, just don't use soap in it. You don't want to use soap in it. But the best thing to do is literally, and if you don't have anything stuck in it where you have to use salt, literally just you're done cooking eggs, you have grease in there, take a paper towel, wipe it around. You want to leave that grease in there. If you do wash your cast iron with water, you should go get some oil, or the best thing is bacon grease, tallow, or lard, and just take a little bit and rub it back in. And you want it sitting on your counter with that grease or lard in a light little coating that prevents it from rusting and also helps protect it and preserve it. Dustin said, if I eat a piece of candy and it's not uh candy and I'm regulated to the John, it's not worth it.
Right. Well, because I don't like to eat something and think like, what are the ramification of this? Like, I mean, I've picked up things before and thought, what am I doing tomorrow? Like how bad, what if I have like a stomach ache? I think about that even with Brussels sprouts. I'm not just picking on like, keto candies and stuff. If I'm gonna eat onions, Brussels sprouts, even broccoli, I have to say to myself, like, what am I doing tomorrow? Because I will get gassy. I mean, when we were on the 2KK cruise, there were perfectly good Brussels sprouts and broccoli that I just avoided. Had nothing to do with like, I'm trying to be more carnivore. It was totally like, I cannot be farty. I'm going to be around a bunch of people
Well, I just saw
that I love.
Kathy said Russell Stover doesn't give me disaster pants, but it gives me gassy pants, and they're definitely addictive to me.
Oh my gosh.
Pam said, do you know when you're going to start doing more videos on the farm? Well, we actually have a vlog coming out tomorrow with a little bit of a farm update. So as far as our other channel, I keep saying this, but
Don't say it.
we have a lot of footage and videos where I want to say we have enough footage for like 6 or 7 videos
You just have to
minimum.
sit down and
But
do
I need
it.
to sit down and edit them. And as bad as this sounds, my focus has to be on whenever I have spare time to actually work in the house so that we can get in the house. We're living in our RV. Our house is up for sale, and when it sells, our son has no place to live.
So we have to have it finished.
So we have to get it going. So I think I've got the logo. I just have to sit down and edit them. So I'd like to be able to, I keep saying I'm going to sit down and edit some videos and do this time, but then I end up working till 7 o'clock and then I'm exhausted. But we do have we have a vlog video coming out tomorrow. It's probably going to come out in the morning. And then in there's an update on the farm, where we're at with the house, some of Rachel's new babies, all that kind of stuff.
They're cute.
They're your babies. You were sitting on the floor feeding them hot dogs today or the other day.
Well, yeah. The lips and buttholes hot dogs from Walmart are like $1 a package, and it is really an inexpensive treat for them. They love hot dogs. They do.
Sean said, I'm off from the 25th until the 2nd of January. I'm looking for something to do. You can come to Florida.
There you go.
Anything to avoid my to-do list.
Right, right. What else to do other than these things to do?
Yeah, Lisa said, oh man, inhaling the poof of keto chow was dangerous.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh.
Matt said, I can't wait to try cruise food. Everybody says the food is one of the best parts of a cruise. Yeah, Matt and Sarah have never been on a cruise.
Oh my gosh. Well, Matt has been on a cruise before, but not electively.
Yeah, well, electively, but
One time elective, sign up.
not on a fun one, right?
Right, right. Not that was, and George did that this past one. We had George and Connie came, and he was like, retired Navy, and he was just like, this is the first cruise that's like, I chose the destination.
So Matt reminds me of a good thing. So Matt texted me last night. So for any of you, whether you're going to Alaska with the low carb cruise, or you're coming on our cruise, or you're doing another cruise. Now remember, I'm a travel agent. If you're going on a cruise, I can book your cruise for you.
Sure.
It does help us. I really does. It's not a lot, but $50 here, that it helps. But if you're going on a cruise out of the United States, a lot of people don't know this, but you can travel on a birth certificate alone. So your birth certificate and your ID. It has to be leaving from and coming back to the same place. So don't do that, please. Okay.
Get a passport.
Get a passport
You want a passport.
for two, really three reasons.
The
Number one,
line.
the line, not so much when you're getting on, but when you're getting off, if you're traveling on a birth certificate, is ridiculous. If you're
Yeah.
traveling with passport, it's facial recognition. To get on, they look at your stuff, you get on. To
Boom.
get off, you literally walk off, you put your face in a camera, and they're like, goodbye. If you have a birth certificate, you have a long line.
It's Oregon Trail. You
But
could die of dysentery waiting in that line.
that is not the biggest reason to travel with a passport. To travel with a passport is this. When you leave the country, if you're on a birth certificate, the only way you can get back into the country is to come back the same way. God forbid you leave on a cruise and something happens. You have a medical emergency, you miss the ship at a port of call. That happens. It happens once in a while. You can't come home. Not easily, anyway. At that point, you have to go to the State Department. You have to pay a whole bunch of money to get an emergency passport to come home. So if you have a passport, you can literally go jump on a plane and come home. You cannot do that with a birth certificate. You cannot fly from another country on a birth certificate. Now, if you were taking a cruise and only going to the U.S. Virgin Islands, technically you can do without it because U.S. territory, you could fly home on your driver's license alone. But not if you go to, Bahamas, Mexico, any of those places, you need to have your passport if you're going to fly home. So please get a passport. With that being said, Matt texted me about this last night. Do not get the passport card, get a passport book for the same reason. You cannot use the passport card for flying. It can only be used for the cruising or to drive. You cannot use it for flying. So it's same thing. If you happen to go to another country, God forbid something happens, you can't come home. And that actually happened. We were on the cruise. Miss Beth got ill.
Yes.
She had to go to the ship doctor, which is why you want travel protection, because I know that visit costs like $500 or $600 and it can cost even a lot more. But fortunately, she has travel protection, so that gets covered. And you could be, if you're in like Mexico, it could be $20,000. I've seen it happen, and they won't let you leave until you pay it either. But fortunately, they fixed it.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't going to get fixed, they were like, you're going to have to get off at port and go to the hospital. At which point, to come home, she would need to have a passport.
Right.
So if you're going to cruise, get a passport and only get the book. Do not get a passport card. Now there's going to be a million comments probably saying,
Oh, no.
like, not to do that. But Shauna, thanks for the $10 super chat. Said
Shauna.
it's Oregon Trail. I just love you guys.
It is, though. It is so long. Seriously, there's pioneer people at the front of that line.
John said, I just found escargot at Walmart. I seriously am thinking about trying to replicate the escargot appetizer from the cruise. All you need is lots of butter and garlic. And cheese, Parmesan cheese along the top.
Garlic, Parmesan, butter.
So Nancy said,
Nancy,
the food is amazing, but the community is my favorite. You'll meet so many new friends. Your heart grows like the Grinch. You love everybody more than you can imagine.
that is so true. You are absolutely right. Now I want to watch The Grinch. We've got to watch that with Peyton.
So Denise said star cards for flying and to get into federal buildings in general. Yes, but not international travel. Like your driver's license is worthless for international travel on a flight.
Is 4091? Yes, that is our house that is up for sale.
Yes. Yeah, and it's funny because I got my new driver's license for the new address here, and they changed my driver's license number. Evidently, because of the new updates to driver, even though I already had the star on my card.
You memorized your driver's license number?
Yes. And I've known it for a long time. And now I don't know my driver's license number anymore. So that's
it's like you go to college to learn your social security number. If they were to change that number, it'd be like, why did I even go to college? Why?
right.
So the only reason was to learn that number.
Sean said it cost me over $2,000 to get an EKG and some IV fluids. It took 6 months to get the money back from
Wow.
my travel insurance, but at least we got it back.
Wow, I'm glad you got it back.
Yeah.
That is crazy. The
Um,
missing chicken coops gave it away of where our house was. Yes, we bulldozed the big
so
chicken
yeah, to
coop.
take down the chicken coop, I literally brought the tractor home and drove it down the side of the house and demolished it with the tractor. It was so much easier than trying to like take it apart piece by piece and carry it to the front.
I'm so fancy. Nothing like a tractor bulldozing a chicken coop in your backyard to say, yes, you probably should move to the country. Yes, please. Can we help you move quicker?
So, okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Super excited. We get to see Peyton tomorrow and get to see
Yay!
John Paul and Michelle
I am
tomorrow.
excited that you are going to get to see your friends and your family this coming week because it's the holidays are coming. So whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah that's actually starting on December 25th this year, or Kwanzaa, like, happy holidays. We're super happy for you.
Matt said the link for the second leg of the cruise shows the dates is December 4th to the 8th. I can change that.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I will change that. Thank you very much. Vern texted me the other day, but I thought he was talking about the image. And I'm like, the image is right. So it's just because I simply like copied like
We need to
one
change
thing
it
to the
to
other.
Miami.
No, I changed that.
It said MAIMI on this thing that you just
Well,
showed.
that's because you didn't proofread it for me. Because like I don't ever. Anyway, we'll be back live on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Keto Be on the Couch. Like I said, tomorrow morning, we will have a vlog going up. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.
We love you.
Bye.